Okay, Creep got rid of his window there. All right, so we're off. We're back into the intro.
Yeah, back into Ninja Village. Hopefully it doesn't get destroyed this time. Kappa.
There's that one time it won't, and we're all going to be shocked.
Oh, Creep doing the settings strats to start off Ninja Village.
That was some RNG manipulation.
Yeah, gotta set the memory so it's in the right way, so you can get this awesome PB.
So yeah, as per last time, theme of Ninja Village here, tech smash. That is the basic introduction, along with the cloud step, which is going to allow you to jump after slashing something. But your time in Ninja Village is essentially going to come down to how fast can you mash through that intro text and hold right. I'm going to guess 1 for David and 0 for Creep in terms of time shards.
I'm going to go for 2 for David and 1 for Creep.
I had the right idea, but I had them swapped.
Creep got 1.
Both runners have successfully acquired the scroll.
So a 150 is generally like fine, because a lot of people like some people are really hard on Ninja Village and they go for those 145s or whatever, but usually we see something around 148 to 150.
I think the lowest I've seen is 148. Someone pulled a 145, that would be crazy. I'd have to see that.
I know Renubris and I think Naleen and Dragon Strike have gotten 146s, and there's some rumor of a 145, although I'm not sure I entirely believe that.
It's like the Chupacabra.
Yeah, I'll have to see it with my own eyes.
So into Autumn Hills, runner is going to be working on getting 40 time shards to acquire the projectile destruction upgrade in their first shop visit, along with the climbing claws.
CountCreep entering this room with 36 coins or 34 coins means he doesn't even have to go to the right wall, which saves that fraction of a second, but it feels so good.
So projectile destruction going to be an extremely useful upgrade. It's going to allow us to cloud step off of multiple things. You're going to want to maintain health through this section for the sake of one of 2 potential damage boosts coming up. We're going to see which one the runners are going to go for. Right, David gets the boost in the right way. Creep does as well. Both runners are going to be fine, both going for the optimal damage boost. Means they're going to both have to wait for the saw in the upcoming water section.
Yeah, so that's pretty standard. That's generally what people do now.
Would you believe that I'm still one of those people that rides it and I damage boost the saw?
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
I love my consistency.
That's fair. It feels like you're getting screwed over when you don't get that spike boost. So
taking one more through this saw blade. Oh, Creep actually opting to go under. I'm a little surprised.
He may be going for the spike wall boost because I've seen him try that before.
Oh, that would be spicy. Let's see. He's trying. He got damaged the wrong way, unfortunately. Would have been nice to see. You don't have the mid-air recovery at this point, but you can hope that you get damaged to the right. And in some very rare cases, you can actually make that without damage, but it's extremely tight.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one is more likely to damage boost you backwards, which is why people generally don't want to do it. But I've only seen one time where someone gets boosted forwards and they're able to get over the wall.
There's a couple more definite ways you can do it, but the negative if you're going to use those setups is you're going to end up standing there wasting time setting them up, which is unfortunately going to kind of mitigate what you would have saved anyways. Both of them getting the platform skip, very nicely done. David maintaining that small lead right now. It started with the options menu, but we'll see how far he can carry it. Yes, CountCreep with the file name Renubris. That's become a little bit of a meme within the community. It started when people were testing different quote-unquote good luck file names, and then somebody PB'd with a Renubris run, and then it happened, I think, like a second and third time, so it's kind of a good running joke.
Yeah, one of my PBs was definitely called Renubris. I do remember last race Renubris named his file name Marazio, so interesting.
Nice. So both runners will be acquiring the shurikens and the knockback prevention, or I guess knockback recovery is a better phrasing, and going to be trying to one cycle good old pumpkin spice. David successful. Creep actually sitting on his toe, which I didn't know you could actually creep that far forward, to be honest. Both of them getting the one cycle though, nicely done.
Yeah, I know Kuningas and Creep both like to do that, just like a little bit of a shuffle but towards the boss so they can save those few frames so they can get out of that room.
I've been testing waters, but I never thought to go that close. That's nice. Forlorn, here it is. There it goes.
Yep.
And that's all we're gonna see of it.
One of my least favorite splits, but I don't even know why I keep it, because I just get mad every time I lose 0.1 seconds.
I kind of love it in the practicality, because like I would compare it to the Mega Man 3 break split, which is also kind of a meme in and of itself, so I don't know, I approve of the ridiculous Forlorn split. David getting damage, which means he's not going to be able to make the Crusher cycle here. Let's see if Creep's going to get it. He's going for it. Just barely.
Ooh, he was getting knocked down. Very close.
I clenched.
We're gonna see the famed Necromancer.
So one of two, I guess, enemy wave rooms, whatever you would like to call them, gauntlet rooms, where you have to destroy all enemies before being able to advance. We're gonna see one more later in the Catacombs.
It's so close right now, like, it's kind of crazy. They're basically on the same frame.
Worth noting, David is at 3 health, which is of course scary. Yeah, they are neck and neck coming out of the water here. The only difference I see really is the health. Creep has made his way through the cycle. David playing it safe, which I don't blame him for, given 3 health. But yeah, that's going to be a lead change. Very strong performance by both runners so far, though. Okay, neither opting for the damage boost to the spikes there, which means we're going to probably see the later damage boost from both.
Yep. The risky thing there is you hope you have enough health at the time, but I guess it's the same thing where you hope you don't die if you take the earlier damage boost.
1/6 half dozen, really. Into the Wizrobe room. And see if shurikens are required. What kind of RNG we're going to get here. This is one of the smaller instances of RNG. Very nice on Creep's side. And good for David too. I would take both of those patterns any day.
Yeah, you hate to see when it goes on the like far bottom right behind the block and you literally can't get him. You gotta wait the whole...
It's bait the first time you see it though, because you see him on the bottom right past the block and you're like, oh, this is awesome, I'm going to go past the block and it's going to be great. But no, you can't destroy the block and him fast enough and then he teleports away. You only do that once.
Yeah, it feels terrible, you know, you get to the block and just like the millisecond you're getting to him, he's gone. You gotta go all the way back up.
See if
So,
Creep's gonna get this Crusher.
yeah, I wonder if they're both gonna go for this cycle on this Crusher.
Ooh, David taking the Spike Ball.
Oh, that's rough, yeah.
Alright, so first Quarble of the run. Of course, he comes free with a Lecture.
And Creep is onto the boss now, and he's hoping for the good pattern. One of two. Pattern where he goes to the top of the screen, and he gets it. But
He opted to try and take the Cloud Step instead of the damage boost method. You can sometimes get an actual slash without taking damage in Cloud Step up there, but the damage boost is definitely more consistent, although you probably lose out on a couple slashes going that route. Whatever you like to make of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice fight regardless. Rexton denouncing his evil.
And David entering the fight now. Also getting the good pattern.
So probably about a 45-second difference from the runs right now. 45 to 50 seconds, just from a rough estimate from the end of Rexton fight. So, as you mentioned last race, Bamboo is going to be a good display of technicality. No rope dart, but lots of tech, lots of double lantern jumps, things of that sort.
Yeah, if you want to minimize your time on the ground and maximize your time moving towards the exits. And without that rope dart, it can be a little bit difficult. Some of the skips are tough to get.
Over the saw blade and using the two fireballs. Good thing about this screen is there's actually two consistent health drops on that screen, so you can grab it at the top if you're really hard up and not confident about doing that second spike jump because you're maybe at 3 or less health. And if something goes wrong, you even have that health you can grab before you exit that screen. So
yeah, very healthy screen. And he gets that skip up away from the elevator. And he misses the Steelheart jump.
Third try. Platform getting away from him.
Yeah, that's a new one.
I don't think I've seen that one either.
But he makes it up in the end.
David making the saw jump as well. 2 fireballs. Grabbing on the wall, that's fine. And then getting his health. Creep's going to come up to the infamous Medusa room. Double lantern jumps everywhere, and he's through clean.
Yeah, very clean on that room. Not even getting hit at the end, so it's very nice.
His shard count's also actually really good as well. He's going to be able to get, I believe, glide attack with 275.
Yep, for sure.
Alright, so on to Grotto. This is where we're going to be able to buy the glide upgrade. Runners are also going to buy the water dash and I forget the technical term for it. And of course the glide attack.
Yep, so you're looking for 275 coins, which he absolutely has. And he's going to make his way through the Howling Grotto.
As with previous levels that have kind of demonstrated those new skill sets, Grotto's no different. Grotto, you're going to see a lot of wind, you're going to see a lot of uses of glide, optional little tunnels that you could kind of go down like that back and forth there for the time shards. This is going to be your level to learn how to use glide effectively.
Yeah, so David's getting the glide now. A little bit behind.
I didn't catch his count going in. Did he have enough for the glide attack as well?
I didn't catch either, but I guess we'll find out.
So taking a death or deaths in this run is a little bit detrimental, especially if you're counting on that early glide attack. It doesn't look like he has it right now. I don't think he does. So if you're actually counting on having that glide attack and you do take an unfortunate death or two, that's going to cost you time shards as well as time. So, no, he does have it.
Yeah, he has the glide attack.
So you can kind of build in a couple of contingencies. At the end of Bamboo, for example, there's a large crystal that you can use to farm some time shards if you know that you're behind pace in terms of the shards that you need. There's also kind of some extra lanterns you can go not very far out of your way to grab. It's all about managing your numbers and your shop visits. Something I don't see people do, it was suggested recently in No Out of Bounds, is that room with the 2 saw blades. There's a health upgrade in that very top left lantern. You could save a little bit of time by damage boosting through one of the saw blades, because if you damage boost the first, it will let you make the second cycle ahead of the saw instead of behind it, and then you don't need to kind of stutter step your way behind. So any No Out of Bound runners that perhaps are not doing that, friendly note that it's a way you can save a little bit of time if you have 4 or more health going into that room.
Yeah.
And the golem.
Yep, so CountCreep obviously going for the 2 cycle, and so he'll be hitting the heart 7 times, and hopefully you can count to 7. It's always a challenge when you're in the air, and sometimes you get those double hits, so... Looks like he did 7 the first time. And it's looking like a really good 2 cycle.
Very nice. You don't even see the spikes on the arms there the second time, so definitely a good 2 cycle.
And that was a pretty good phase 2. He got all the hits he needed, and the emerald ball ended up coming towards him, which is it's easier to track him down. If he goes away from you, you kind of have to, follow him for a little bit and chase him to get those hits in. And he also ended up low on the screen, which is good, so he doesn't have to spend all that time gliding down.
I feel like we're going to have to make a golem thump him out, but until then, feel free to spam your Bible thumps. David has to watch out. He's down to 1 health.
Yeah, it looks like he missed the 2 cycles, so he's going down for another. Yeah, that's rough.
Alright, so Quill Shroom, another level that you're really going to benefit from having the glide attack. Runners fortunate enough to get it early in the grotto. This is where you're really going to see its use, in my opinion. There's a lot of really cool strats that you can do with it to save a little bit of time here and there. It makes enemy management much easier throughout the level, and a couple screens in particular just so much easier. You can see Creep doing it right now. He's glide attacking everything, and he's just flying over everything.
Yeah, you're basically floating over the whole level at this point with that glide attack. And David's going into phase 2 of the golem fight.
He gets his revenge. Right, so having his 2 shurikens remaining, we're going to see if Creep is going to go for the shuriken strat. In a few screens here, there's a switch coming up, and you can glide attack and jump your way off one of the lanterns before the end of the screen. And when you transition, just toss 2 shurikens very quickly and hit the switch, and it'll save you a couple seconds in terms of actually jumping up and hitting that switch manually. So we're going to see if he's going to get that. It's coming up right here. Very nice. There's a couple ways to handle this screen in particular. If you opt to ride that platform, just be aware that if you're on the left-hand side, you'll actually get crushed when it swings to the left.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen Kuningas, who has the world record, has a really nice way of handling that bird, where I think it's probably the fastest way through the room, and you end up just cloud stepping on the bird to get out. It's really nice.
Do you know, does Kuningas get early glide attack as well, or does he buy it in Craig's?
Yeah, I saw him buy it in Craig's once, but it was just because he missed coins. I'm pretty sure he's always going for that early wingsuit attack. I think that's pretty much the accepted strat, just because there's usually enough as long as you're getting all the lanterns that are actually in the way. You don't really have to go out of your way to get enough coins for it.
That's completely fair. I'm coming from a more typically out of bounds territory where it's just unless you're stopping to spend time, it's not an option. So that makes sense. So if you're not taking any extra time and you're going to consistently get it, it's a why not setting.
Yeah.
Very nice fight by Creep. Mandatory 3 cycle, but Queen of Quills goes down easily.
And there was no Corbel cutscene, but David, after beating that boss, will have a little cutscene with Corbel popping up because he's died previously, so something to note.
Fun fact, your character will still look left and right as if there was a conversation, despite there's not one. Creep getting the rope dart, and thus begins rope dart everything. Taking a few early hits. He's got to be careful.
Yeah, there is the spike platform, which you usually don't end up hitting, but if he does...
Yeah, usually don't are the keywords there, because every once in a while, depending if you're maybe consciously thinking about it or your pace is good and you just kind of know it, every once in a while that'll throw you.
Oh yeah, I've had it happen where I'm thinking, I'm too focused on if I'm gonna make it, and I ended up missing it 3 times or something. That was interesting from CountCreep. I think he used the first of those little red frog things rather than waiting. I know Kuningas and
yeah, the red doggo thing.
Yeah, I've waited for one of the ones that's behind you, but I think he used the front one there.
Yeah, sure. I usually use the if I'm going to be taking that route up, usually I would use the thing falling from the ceiling, actually.
Yeah, that's true. That one's faster, but I think it's a little more difficult. I don't know.
So he opts for the fireball. There's a couple different ways you can do that. David's through the Quill Shroom level. He can be moving on to Craig's and getting equipped with his own rope dart. Creep back down to 2. Mentioned last race, but in case you guys weren't here, 3 or less is a scary amount of health in this game, because spikes will kill you. Down to 1 now.
Interesting not using the green guy on the right side there, but...
I feel like that was a hesitation. I feel like if he had 2, he would have gone middle route and up, but I feel like he probably wanted to play it safe.
Yeah, he was just conscious of his health and spent a little more time just to be safe.
Exhausting his stars immediately. And getting slightly bad RNG. got a few extra hits in on the way up. If you're really lucky, or I'll say good, because I guess this is something you could practice if you see that attack enough, you can ride that attack kind of up the screen and get hits in all the way up and down, but it's quite difficult to do consistently. The theme of this boss is, of course, other than leg and arm day, you can only hit one from the back and you can only hit the other from the front. And you're trying to get both of them down to below a certain threshold. They have their independent health meters, and that's when the fight's going to end. Probably here.
Creep's been taking a lot of damage, but it ended up fine. David just died as well. His Corbel following him. I think it was a spike that got him.
So on to Glacial for Creep. Not only a technical level, but great music. David going the intended route. He's going to try and take a little jump off the green guy there. Right, so Creep's going right side as well.
Yeah, I used to be a left side supporter, but I think it's been proven that right side is pretty much always better with that bird, so that's kind of...
I don't think I've ever side by side them. I'll have to check that out.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard people have done it, I think, so...
I could believe it. I mean, it's pretty fast without having to double back to the other side. My mindset is always you have to go right for a period of time one way or another. So it's kind of all in how fast you can ascend that section, but...
Yeah. And also, if you miss the little snowball guy the first time, you're going to have to wait for him to go all the way around before you can get another chance at it.
Yeah. Those lanterns aren't moving. So... we can see he's, again, rope darting absolutely everything that he can. Walls, lanterns, enemies, anything that you can use to pull yourself that slight amount ahead as far as possible. You're going to do it. I don't know why you can just see it happen there. Sometimes when you rope dart off of an enemy, you get like this slow motion finish. Have you noticed that as well?
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. I think Kuningas said that you can counteract it if you attack right after you get that effect on you, but I have no idea why that happens. So now David's on to the Craig's fight, and so far that's one of the good patterns. So, and he's hitting himself with the ball, so he gets a few extra hits in there.
So Kuningas is clarifying, only with the big guy can it be cancelled if you jump or slash. So I guess that would mean only the hidden demon general that you can attack 3 times.
Spoilers. Yeah, so I think both runners got 2 of the good attacks and 1 of the bad attacks for the Craig's fight.
I feel like as long as your attacks are on point, a 3 cycle is pretty standard.
So I guess they're about pretty much exactly 1 level apart, as Creep is getting this tower cutscene and David's getting this Craig's cutscene.
So tower going to be the final stage of 8-bit. Again, having to watch out for these lasers. These lasers do 4 damage, opposed to everything else in the game, which has done like 3 for spikes or less. So these lasers are extremely deadly. See, he's going to skip the checkpoint. Of course. Ooh, that was actually close. He almost clipped that laser while trying to dodge the shot from that whiz robe.
Yeah, I've seen if you buy extra health, I think, and you have full health at that point, you can damage boost from the wizard for the first 2 spikes, or the first 2 lasers, and then damage boost through the second 2 lasers, just taking the damage, and you end up with 1 health at the end, but you don't have to wait for the platform. But it all depends on you having that health upgrade, which neither of them have right now. So
I feel like we've struggled to find a faster way to do that room that Creep just went through with the platforms rotating clockwise and the switch that you have to hit to get rid of the laser. And nobody that I've seen has been able to really kind of make that final platform cycle without getting pinched and squished at the top.
What I do, like, every time is I just book it to the end where there's those 2 lasers and wait for the wizard to shoot a projectile at me, take the damage off that, and just walk through the lasers. So I take 1 damage, and I end up not having to fumble in that room. And it's about equal. I timed it a few times, and depending on how good you are, it's about equal. But you don't have to worry about trying to get the crystal at the top.
Nice. Creep so far handling tower just completely fine. Gonna see if he's gonna damage boost through this second set of lasers here. Okay, so 3 of 4. You can damage boost through all 4 of those lasers, although it's extremely close. Is he going for the cycle? He is going for the cycle. That first one was very close. I'm surprised he didn't get hit. But once I saw how close he was, I wasn't surprised he went for the second.
Yeah, and David is just making his way to near the end of Glacial here.
Couple double lantern jumps there.
A bit messy on that those last few lanterns, but he makes it out, and he's going to get into the cutscene now.
I wish there was something for this room, and actually Creep getting an extra cycle. This one with the platform swinging back and forth and the lasers. I wish there was something we could do, but you can't cover that distance, even taking damage boosts through that room.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I wonder, he was just kind of standing there. I guess he just...
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was just maybe he was a little bit out in space or having a moment, but yeah, it happens. He was seeing the sights, making sure those little eyeball things weren't going to get him. Alright, David into the tower himself.
And Creep is approaching the boss now. He's going to be ascending on these platforms.
Runners in chat, hands up if you've fallen asleep during the cutscene into the Tower of Time and then walked face first into that first set of lasers.
Absolutely.
Guilty more than once.
Oh, wow. That was something from CountCreep. I think he was trying to damage boost off one of the lasers on the left side to push him towards the right side, but he ended up just dying. So he's getting the Corbel cutscene.
And now he's got 1 health going into the fight.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy, especially considering the time he saved. He definitely lost.
There's a way that you can
dying.
do some swag, and I mean, you can jump over the lasers and still land on the platform, but it doesn't actually save any time because you still end up getting it at the same time as the platform. But yeah, no, I agree. That was an interesting decision. We're gonna see how it pans out.
Maybe he's just so confident that he wants to play this fight in hard mode.
I think opting for a rope dart and getting hit on the way in.
Yeah, I mean, it's always pretty precise to not get hit when you're rope darting like that. With the 1 HP. I feel like maybe CountCreep just handed the controller to me and it's me playing this last little bit.
David's making his way through the tower. No issues so far. He's got 4 health, just wants to make sure he doesn't touch the laser, and he's fine. Creep taking another shot at this fight. I'll have to ask him about that one after. David opting for no... Oh, no, he can't do the damage boost. He only has 4 health.
I was just gonna say, he's got 4 health, so he can't do that. Damage boost. Oh, wow. Interesting there, where I guess he just rope darted a bit too either early or late. Yeah, late. And so he ended up just walking onto that laser and taking the death.
GG to CountCreep, who's finished.
Yep, GG. 34:52. It's still a really good time. There's only, I think, 4 people that have, or maybe like 5 people that have that sub 35, so.
Oh, David having a little bit of a hard time with this room. I'm not sure if he's maybe just noticed that Creep is finished and maybe he's typing a hearty GG in chat or SRL. We're gonna see if we can get Creep in here for an interview while David finishes up. Ooh,
it's rough. I mean, he opted not to take that optional checkpoint, which is pretty standard, but he's ended up dying twice after it, so he's had to do this room a few times.
Oh, and yeah, again, that late rope dart I think you mentioned earlier. So this room is extremely punishing. If you happen to take a death during or after this room, just because of this down and up portion, it's extremely punishing. You come back from this section, you don't have the health to do a damage boost through the lasers. You know, I'm going to say 10 out of 10 times, if you have a mistake after that room and you haven't taken that checkpoint, you're going to be punished for it and you're going to lose more time than you obviously would have gained from skipping that checkpoint. So depending on your confidence level, that might be one that you just opt into on a regular basis until you're trying to squeeze the last little bits out, or at the very least until you feel comfortable with that section.
Yep, so I know that the room where you're following that platform down, which blocks the lasers for you, I've had some trouble in the past. I know that we had a community race, and I ended up dying 4 times on that room, so something similar to how it's been going for David. It can be tough, and it's definitely punishing.
And I'm not sure if you've ever had it happen, it's happened to myself, but I found sometimes that if you're gliding down and you're, I'll say quote unquote, too close to the bottom, you can actually kind of outdrift that platform just slightly and hit a laser because I don't know if you just fall a very small hair faster than it, and that's what it is, but if you're too close to the bottom, you can actually end up nudging a laser before the very end of that room on your way down.
I have had that happen to me once where, you know, at the start, you get through the first, like, 2 or 3 lasers, but you've drifted down, like, just a few pixels and you end up taking the death.
Yeah, you kiss the laser and you wonder what happened.
Yeah.
Alright, so he's pretty much in the clear now. He's got this final climb, 1 more checkpoint, 2 generous checkpoints between the 2 of them. But he seems to be good here, and he's going to be going into the final fight shortly. Alright, looks like we have Creep in the room. Creep, are you able to hear us?
Yeah.
Excellent, GG.
Thank you.
So my first question, and I have to know, I guess two-parter. What was the feeling going into the final boss with 1 health and the left side damage boost? Was that something new, or was that something that was an accident?
So the damage boost has been like a, I don't know, like it's just for swag really. That was all it was for. But it didn't work out. So,
okay, were you watching the race and you knew that you had a comfortable lead, and that's why you decided to try and show that off then?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured that was why it was a 2-parter.
I was trying to see if I could get still get the rope dart strats with just 1 HP. So I knew there was like a really high chance of dying, but I thought I'd try it anyway.
And GG to David as well. Looks like he's finished.
Yep, so some really nice times. Congratulations for finishing the run. But yeah, it looked pretty good. You had no deaths until that little bit of fun at the end of the tower. So
yeah.
GG's.
I'm sure we're gonna see if we can get David in here in a moment. Looks like he's just gonna be restarting his Discord. So of course, Creep, you've been pushing down the the no out of bounds times for a little while now. Do you have a certain goal in mind of kind of where you see it ending at the moment with current strats, or something that you're striving for?
I want a sub 33, definitely. My last time best is like a 32.47 or 46 now, I think. So I want a sub 33, and then I'll probably call it, unless something like kind of big gets found, then I'll probably just leave it at that.
Nice. And are you planning to pick up something afterwards, like going back to any percent or 100% or moving on to another game? Like, do you have kind of any immediate intentions afterwards?
Spyro's coming out soon, so I'll probably end up shifting at that for a while, but I will definitely come back to this. So I think like the main kind of category I want to do is 100%, but kind of, I don't know, it's hard to do when you only run a 100%, you know.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's done that one except you, so.
Yeah. I've given it some thought, but it's probably going to be after I hammer out a few other things. But I posted a couple things that I found in the Discord that hopefully will be useful for it. And I think there's still a lot of development to be done for that category, which I think is also part of the fun. Is if you're anything like me, you enjoy routing stuff and kind of testing stuff. And I think there's a lot of growth left in 100%, and that's when you're really going to see it come out of its infancy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like in my latest run, I think I saved like 40 minutes, and then I just didn't kind of do anything after that. So like, it's still really optimized. So that'd be cool. It'd be cool to go back to that if I had someone like compete with. That'd be cool. But apart from that, I really want to get any percent no out of bounds. Like I want to put some time into that, because I don't know, the clips are really inconsistent. So I don't really have as much fun with any percent and out of bounds runs as I do with no out of bounds.
Well, they're fairly significant differences too, because I mean, you see a lot of different things in any percent no out of bounds that you wouldn't otherwise. And I feel like the clip consistency is starting to really come around, but it's still they're very different games at that point, because we're talking a half an hour difference that you skip with clips. And that's literally how much of the game that you just don't see because of out of bounds. Looks like we have David here too. David, are you able to hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, excellent. Congratulations. GG.
Thank you. GG to CC.
Thank you.
So how did you feel about your run? Was there any particular highlights or anything that stuck out for you in particular?
I had a decent glacial at least. But nothing really. I just died a lot. I shouldn't have died in certain places.
Happens to the best of us.
I know a few of those deaths just came from, rope darting just like a fraction of a second too late. You always hate to see that.
Maximum distance rope dart, man.
Yeah, and a little bit of distance upwards that you don't want.
Yep. Other than that, the run was fine. I think I just need to work a bit more on certain runes, and I think I should be good for PV soon.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone hanging out. Is there anything that you guys want to add to the end? I know we've got another match coming up here at 4 p.m. Eastern, so just a little more than an hour. Anything you guys want to say to top off your race?
GG's to everybody, and then thank you for restreaming to Speed Game for restreaming, and thank you guys for the commentary.
All right, and also just want to say to anyone who's never played The Messenger, like, totally check it out. Super fun game. Yeah.
Join the Discord. Everyone's always happy to help, and it's a good community. Awesome. Well, I'm going to head out for now, but I will be back at that 4 p.m. race. And again, congrats, guys, on your race, and good luck in the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
And thanks, everyone, for tuning in. So, see ya.